Most hunters plan the drive to the trailhead. They plan camp, they plan opening morning, and that's a lot of times where the plan ends. By day three, they're in the tent making decisions they should have made at home. Move to the next drainage, stay another day, push through the fatigue, or take a rest morning. They're not executing a plan, they're reacting to a situation they never prepared for. The hunters who consistently fill tags on a 10-day elk hunt aren't luckier than the ones who don't. They went in with a plan that went all the way to day 10, not just day 2. And this episode is that plan. A 10-day elk hunt isn't one thing. It's 4 distinct phases, in my opinion, and each phase has a different objective, a different set of decisions, and a different set of mistakes that end the hunt early if you make them. Most elk hunters treat the whole thing like one sustained push. Show up, hunt hard, hope something happens. When the elk don't cooperate in the first few days, the doubt creeps in. The plan unravels. The tent starts winning. Build the plan, the full plan, before you leave. A plan that tells you exactly what each phase is for, what you're trying to accomplish in it, and how to make the key decisions when they come up. Do that, and a 10-day elk hunt becomes a system you execute instead of a test you hope to pass. Now, I've spent 34 years elk hunting and guiding western elk across some of the most demanding high country in the West. A lot of those hunts in the 7 to 12 day range, and 30 years as a professional strength conditioning and nutrition coach, working with athletes at every level, including years competing as an elite athlete myself. What all of those worlds share is this: the people who perform across the full duration of a hard event are the ones who plan for all of it. So here's how that applies to 10 days in elk country. The first thing that has to shift is how you think about failure. Most hunters believe a failed elk hunt failed because the elk didn't cooperate. The elk weren't there. The rut was late. The weather was wrong. But when you look at how those hunts actually fell apart, the same pattern's almost always the same. The decisions made on days 4, 5, and 6 were made under fatigue, under doubt, without a framework, and they were the wrong decisions. Move too soon from good country. Stay too long in dead country. Mentally check out 2 days before the hunt's actually over. Those decisions don't get made because the hunter lacks skill. They get made because there was no plan past day 2. The fix is straightforward. You build the plan at home before the stress and fatigue shows up. You pre-decide what each phase is for, what you're trying to accomplish in it, and how you'll handle the key decisions when they arrive. And the plan starts with the first 2 days, which most hunters use wrong. Days 1 and 2 have one primary focus, and it's not just killing elk, it's finding them. And that doesn't mean you're sitting on your hands, you're hunting. If a bull walks into your lane on day 1, you take the shot. You're always open to the opportunity, right? But the orientation of those first days is information, right? That's the goal, not just pressuring in. The hunters who get into trouble in this phase are the ones who treat day 1 like it's the only day they get to hunt. They go in fast and hard, push deep into their target drainage with full commitment, and burn their best country before they know anything about how the elk are actually using it. So by the time they've figured out where the elk are bedding, what the thermals are doing, which routes the herd is using, they've already educated those elk, and they've done it before the hunt really started. Days 1 and 2 are about learning, especially if you have time to scout beforehand, right? You could be there a couple of days early and you could get that done before the hunt starts. But even if you don't, we're still using the same plan. Days 1 and 2 are about learning. Glass from high vantage points if possible. Listen hard at first and last light. Looking for fresh sign, tracks, rubs, wallows, poop, torn up timber. Watch how elk enter and exit the drainages. Pay attention to what the wind is doing in your specific terrain because every drainage behaves a little bit differently. By the end of day 2, you want 3 things locked in: where your primary zone is, what wind setups work in that zone, and where your backup zone is if the primary zone doesn't work out. Hunters who did their preseason scouting walk in already ahead. They're confirming and adjusting at that point. Hunters who didn't pre-scout and are building that picture from scratch, this is what we've got to work on. Either way, don't skip the orientation phase. Give the first 2 days the right job, and you set up everything that follows. Now, once you've got that foundation, days 3 to 5 are where you execute on it, hopefully, right? This is the first real hunting phase and the first place that a lot of 10-day hunts fall apart. You have information from days 1 and 2, you've identified your primary zone, now you go to work. Hunt it hard, call correctly, right? Set up correctly, work the wind correctly, be in position before first light every morning. The mistake that ends a lot of elk hunts in this phase isn't bad tactics, it's a panic move. One slow day 3, and the doubt starts. Another quiet morning on day 4, and suddenly the hunter's convinced he's in the wrong place. So he packs up and moves and leaves elk he was positioned to kill. Here's the decision rule experienced elk hunters use: stay if the sign is still fresh, your wind management has been solid, and you haven't blown out the area. One bad day doesn't mean the elk left. Elk don't usually abandon their home range because Tuesday was slow. If you went in clean, you had the right wind, you used the right setups, there weren't any big mistakes, give that country the time it needs. The one situation where moving in this phase makes sense is that 2 full days of disciplined hunting with cold sign and zero elk contact haven't turned up anything, right? Not one slow day, but 2 days where you've hunted it right and there's genuinely nothing there. Make the move then, not out of doubt, but out of a decision you made at home before the doubt even showed up. Days 3 through 5, done right, have you in contact with elk, you've found fresh sign, or you've got encounters going into the middle of the hunt. Hey, if you hunt public land elk and you're tired of grinding through random seasons, I built the elk hunting series of ebooks for you. Most hunters don't struggle because they lack effort. They struggle because they lack a system. And that's exactly why I built the elk hunting ebook series as a complete progressive framework for Western elk hunters who are done guessing and ready to hunt with intention. Volume 1 is going to be Foundations and Reality. I reset your mindset and expose the assumptions that quietly wreck seasons. In Volume 2, Finding Elk and Understanding Pressure, you'll learn how elk actually move under pressure so you can anticipate instead of react. In Volume 3, Terrain, Wind, and Position, I break down how to use landscape and thermals to consistently create opportunities. In Volume 4, Calling, Silence, and Pressure, sound becomes a decision tool, not an impulse. In Volume 5, Bow Hunting Execution, we're talking about close range strategy so you can finish your encounters. And in Volume 6, Late Season and Post Rut, we're talking about how elk shift after the rut and how to adapt when others quit. This is a system built for consistency. This isn't theory, it's a structured system to help you find elk, read country, and make confident decisions every season. Buy each volume individually or bundle them all to save 50% off at backboneunlimited.com. Days 6 through 8 are where the hunt gets won or lost a lot of times. This is the belly of the hunt, the meat of it, right? The phase most hunters have no plan for. Physical fatigue from the first 5 days is real. The excitement of opening days has burned you out. If you haven't had an encounter yet, your confidence is cracking. So this is exactly where willpower runs out and exactly where a system takes over from it. There are 2 situations you could be in entering days 6 through 8. If you've had contact, you've seen sign, you've built real information about how the elk are moving through your zone, you stay in it. The work you've put in is compounding. You know this country now in a way you didn't on day 1. You know where they bed, you know where they water, what time they move. Keep hunting what you know. Now, if you've had 0 real contact after 5 days of disciplined hunting, cold sign, no bugles, nothing, this is your last clean window to make a significant move. Not a panic move, a strategic one to your plan B zone, identified back on day 1 or 2, right? Give it a real chance. 2 or 3 hard days in new country can absolutely turn a hunt around, but it only works if you make the move now, not on day 9 when there's no runway left. The midday hours matter in this phase too. Elk that bed in the late morning often move to wallow or drink between 10 and 2, especially when temperatures are warm or during the early season. If you're close to animals, stay in position. If the morning was quiet, glass from high vantage points and build intel for the afternoon. If you're physically running on empty, use it for recovery with intention, real food, water, and rest. The hunters who fall apart in the grind phase almost always stop taking care of themselves around day 5 or 6. The last 2 days are where we close the hunt and where the most expensive mistakes of the whole trip usually happen. Days 9 and 10 are full hunting days, not wind down days, not pack and prep days, 2 complete days with the same potential as day 1 and more information behind them than any other point in the hunt. By day 9, you know this country better than anybody else on the mountain. You've watched the elk patterns develop across more than a week. You know the pinch points. You know where the thermals shift. You know the timing. If any of that is ringing a bell for you, or you're like, oh, maybe I should figure those things out, you're right. You've got to figure those things out ahead of time. The mistake is mentally checking out before it's actually over, right? Never quit. You're never out of the fight. You're never out of the game. You're never out of the hunt. Day 9 becomes a half morning. Day 10 becomes breaking down camp by 9 a.m. The last 2 days get treated like bonus time instead of what they actually are. The final full opportunity to push hard and close your hunt that you've put everything into building, right? All the way up to the last minute. Drive home in the dark. Don't get any sleep. You've waited a year for this or more for guys that have put in for units for a long time. The last morning rule is simple. Be in position before first light. Same as day 1. Hunt it like it's opening day, because for the elk, it basically is, right? Their morning pattern on day 10 is the same as it was on day 1. It might be in a new place, but it's probably the same. You're just the hunter who knows a lot more about the pattern now. One thing that absolutely has to be solved before day 9, though, is pack out logistics, right? If a bull goes down at last light on day 9 or somewhere on day 10, the plan for getting him out needs to already exist. What are your routes? What's your meat care timeline in those temperatures? What does your physical capacity look like after 9 hard days? Those aren't questions you answer after the shot. They're questions you answer at home, refined on day 1 and confirmed by day 5. Solving the pack out after the bull is on the ground is working too late, and it could be costing you meat, right? Now, the daily structure that runs underneath all 4 of these phases is the final piece of the system I want to talk about. Every day across all 10 days has the same skeleton. Pre-dawn to 10 in the morning is your golden window. Most elk are killed in this window, and it doesn't change regardless of what phase of the hunt you're in. Be in position before first light every single morning. Let what you hear and see guide your next move. Make one good play, not 3 rushed ones. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you've got 3 options depending on your situation. If you're close to elk and the wind's right, stay put. Elk that bed often move to water or wallow midday, especially in warm weather or early season. If the morning was quiet, get high on glass. Build your intel for the afternoon rather than just sitting in camp wondering. If you're physically spent, recover with intention. Picking the right midday option is a skill that gets overlooked a lot of times, but it can determine how sharp you are for the afternoon push. 2 in the afternoon to dark is your evening window. Back in position by 3 p.m. at the latest. Evening setups need the same care as morning setups, right? Don't rush your approach because you were slow leaving camp. The elk don't care what time of day it is. They're going to use it the same way that they use it every day at that time. Now, 10 days in elk country is enough time to find elk, build information, make mistakes, recover from those mistakes, and still fill your tag, but only if you know what each of these phases is for before you ever leave home. So orient yourself before you pressure the country. Execute on what you find. Grind through the middle with a system behind you instead of just willpower. The hunters who fill tags on day 10 of elk hunts aren't luckier. They're more prepared, and a big part of that preparation has nothing to do with calling your gear. It's knowing what day 6 is for before you ever hit the trailhead. Now, if this episode made you realize you need a better elk plan this season, don't just watch another video and hope it all comes together. Build your plan right now. If you want to study my full system on your own, start with my elk hunting series of ebooks. If you want daily guidance, accountability, and a place to ask questions as the season gets closer, join me on Team Backbone. If you want my eyes on your actual hunt plan, your maps, access, terrain, pressure points, wind, thermals, and strategy, book an elk hunt plan audit with me and I'll help you tighten it up before season. If the missing piece is your body, your legs, your lungs, or your ability to handle mountain miles and a heavy pack, check out my Backbone Unlimited training plans. And if nutrition is where you need more structure, getting leaner, fueling long days, or building a better in-season food plan, check out my nutrition plans. The hunters who are ready in September and October are the ones who start tightening their plan right now. So go to backboneunlimited.com, choose the path that fits where you are, and I'll help you get started. Thanks for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the comments. You know I read and respond to all of them. Until next time, train harder, hunt smarter, and never settle.